Hi, good day. I am Mark. I'm a teacher in mathematics. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to factor out completely polynomials or different types of polynomials. But today in this video, you are just going to learn first factoring polynomial with common monomial factor. Okay, so in order for you to learn it, we're going to recap what you have discussed with your previous teacher, because actually this is a prerequisite concept in order for you to factor out completely the polynomials with common monomial factor. And the first concept that we are going to review is on how we are going to get the greatest common factor, or what we call the GCF. Okay, so when we say greatest common factor, we are referring to the largest number which can divide the given numbers. Okay, so siya yung pinakamalaking number na pwedeng makapag-divide sa given numbers. Or simply, it refers to the greatest number or variable common on the given numbers or variables. So siya yung siya yung pinakamalaking number na parehas. Siya yung pinakamalaking number na factor na parehas dun sa given numbers or variables. Later on, I'm going to give you an example on how you are going to get the greatest common factor. But first, to find the greatest common factor of a number, we should consider this next concept, which is called the prime factorization. So, mas magiging madali sa atin ang pagkuha ng greatest common factor kung alam natin yung prime factorization. Okay. So, pag sinabing prime factorization, this refers to the finding of factors which are prime numbers. So, another concept naman tayo sa prime numbers. So, pag sinabing prime numbers, it refers to the positive integer. Prime numbers refers to the positive integers greater than 1 that has exactly 2 positive integer factors, 1 times itself. So, wala ka nang ibang maiisip na factor than 1 times itself. Okay, so let me give you an example para naman mas lalo nyong maintindihan. Okay, so I have 3 numbers. So, we have numbers 2, 3, and 5. As you can see, 2 has no other factor than 1 times 2. Wala ka nang ibang may isip na iba pang factor ng ng 2, as well as 3 and also 5. Okay, so those are prime numbers. So let's begin with 12 and 24. Okay, so we're going to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 24. So but first we need to choose. Okay, actually there are pairs of factors of the given numbers. Okay, so in case of me, pinili kong factor ng 12 ay 2 times 6. Okay, so as you can see, 2 is already a prime number, but 6 is not yet a prime number. That's why, kukunin natin yung factor niya. So, which is equivalent to 2 times 3. Okay, so as you can see, 2 and 3 are also prime numbers. That's why, we can simply say that 12 has a prime factorization of 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, so I hope that you get that. Okay, so 24. Let's proceed to 24. 24 has pairs of factor, but I've chosen 4 times 6. Okay, so 4 and 6 are not yet prime. So, kukunin natin yung factors nila. So, 4 is equivalent to 2 times 2. And also, 6 is equivalent to 2 times 3. Okay, so lahat sila prime numbers. That's why 24 has prime factorization of 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, so we have already listed down yung mga prime factors of prime factorization of each number. So the next step is to identify the numbers which are common to them. Okay, so ano nga ba yung parehas sa kanila? So we just encircle them para naman ma-emphasize. Okay, so this one, we have 2. Visible naman siya. Okay, so we have another 2. and then 3. Okay. So, pares silang merong 2, dalawang pares, and then isang 3. That's why, in order for us to get the greatest common factor, final step, we just need to multiply the numbers common to them, to each other. Okay, so we have 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, please take note of the symbol of multiplication, dot, malaking dot sa gitna. Okay, so yun yung ginamit ko. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 3, we have 12. Okay, so that's why the greatest common factor is 12. Okay, so I hope you follow. Okay, so let me give you another example para naman sa mga hindi pa nakaka-gets. Okay, so actually madali lang naman siya. Okay, so let's have 8 and 14. Okay, so 8 has a pair of factor of 2 times 4. Okay, so 2 is already a prime number but 4 is not yet. So kunin natin yung factor niya, which is 2 times 2. And also, okay, so that's why we can say that the prime factorization of 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so let's proceed to 14. So 14 has a pair of factor of 2 times 7. Okay, so 2 and 7 are already prime. So hindi na natin kailangan pa silang kunan ng factors. So the prime factorization of 14 is just 2 times 7. Okay, so next step, encircle the numbers common to them. Okay, so isa lang naman actually. So 2. So that's why the greatest common factor is none other than 2. Okay, so I hope that you get that. Okay, so I have a note here. So kapag naman prime numbers ang binigay and you are asked to get the greatest common factor, it would always be equal to 1. Yung common factor nila palagi ay, greatest common factor will be 1. Okay. Okay, so how about naman kung variables naman yung pag-uusapan? Paano naman natin kukunin yung greatest common factor? Actually, napakadali lang pagkuha ng greatest common factor of the same variable. Okay. So, para mahanap ang greatest common factor ng the same variable, we just need first to list down their factors. Okay. So, let's say for example, I have here x cubed and then x raised to 5. Okay, so let's first list down the factors of x cubed. Okay, so we have 3x's. Okay. So, please take note that when we are multiplying variables, we are just adding their exponent. That's why, tatlong x sila, pero yung exponent nila is just the same, 1. Tatlong 1, so 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. Oh sir, hindi ko po nakikita yung exponent na 1. Actually, in the rule of mathematics, kapag ang variable ang pinag-uusapan, kapag wala siyang exponent, we are considering that as 1. Invisible 1. Okay, so let's proceed to x raised to 5. Okay, so x raised to 5, we have 5x's. Okay, multiply together has a result of x raised to 5. So, same process. Kukunin natin yung parehas na letters since variable sila, letters yung available. Okay, so encircle natin. Okay, so we have 1x, another x, and then another x. Okay, so the next step is to multiply the letters common to them. Okay, so we have x times x times x, tatlong x. If we add their exponent, since the same variable sila, we get x cubed. Okay, so that is the greatest common factor. Okay, so napakadali lang. Okay, I have a note here na actually, ang pag-find ng greatest common factor of the same variable is just looking for the variable with the least exponent. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung greatest common factor between x cubed and then x5 is x cubed kasi siya yung pinaka mababa yung exponent. Okay, siya yung pinaka mababa yung exponent. Okay, so I hope that you get my point. Okay, so how about if we talk about 12x cubed and then 24x raised to 5. Ay nako, yung iba, sasabihin mahirap. But then, actually, it's not. Madali lang. Since I have already taught you on how to get the greatest common factor of numbers and also variables, napakadali lang nito. Kasi, para lang tayo nagkukuha ng greatest common factor of numbers and variables at the same time. Okay. So, ganun din ang process. Same process actually. So, the prime factorization of 12 is 2 times 2 times 3, and also we have x cubed 3x's. Okay. So, let's proceed to 24x raised to 5. So, meron siyang prime factorization of 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And then, since x raised to 5, limang x. So, same process. We are going to encircle the common factors that they have. Okay. So, we have 2, another 2, and a 3, an x, another x, and then finally another x. Okay. So, the next step is just to multiply them together to get the greatest common factor. So, 2 times 2 times 3 times x times x times x. Okay, so let us check first. Okay, first, 2, dalawang 2, isang 3, tatlong x says. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 3, we have 12, and then tatlong x cubed. Okay, so I hope you get that. Okay, so I hope you can follow, and then finally, we are going to proceed to factoring out polynomials with common monomial factor. Okay, so we are going to apply what we have learned from this concept. Okay, so let's try 4x raised to 4th power y plus 6x y squared. Okay, so actually dalawang terms siya. Dalawang terms. Pinaghiwalay ng addition sign. Okay. So, andito yun. So, dalawang term. First term and the second term. So, actually, same process. Ang kukunin muna natin yung greatest common factor. First step. Yun ang first step. Kukunin natin yung greatest common factor. So, separate natin yung dalawa. 4x raised to 4th power y, and then 6xy squared. Okay. So first, let's list down the factors of the first term. So we have 2 times 2 times x times x times x times x times y. Okay, so dalawang 2. Kasi 2 times 2 is 4. And then 4x's and then 1y. Okay, so the next one is 6xy squared. Okay, so we have 2 times 3 times x times dalawang y. Okay. So, next step, encircle. Okay, so we have 2, we have x, and we have y. Okay, so tatlo lang yung pareha sa kanila. So, the GCF, i-multiply lang natin yung tatlo. So, we have 2 times x times y. Okay, so we have 2x, y as the GCF. Okay, so take note, na greatest common factor pa lang yan. But then, we are asked to find the factor of the expression. So what you're going to do next is to divide each term with the greatest common factor para naman malaman natin kung ano yung matitira sa loob ng parenthesis. Okay, so after this one, I'm going to show you the factored form. Okay, so actually we're going to divide the two terms with the greatest common factor. But then, there is another way. Kung ayaw nyo pahirapan yung sarili nyo, since na-list down na natin yung factors nitong dalawang terms, we can use this. Okay, so, yung gagawin lang natin is to multiply kung ano yung natira na hindi natin ginamit sa pagkuha ng greatest common factor. Okay. First, let's look at this one, the first term. Okay, so yung natira sa kanya ay isang 2, tatlong x. So, i-multiply natin yung 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 2 sa 3x, we get 2x cubed. And then also, dito naman sa second term, yung natira ay 3 at saka y. That's why when we multiply them, we get 3y. Okay. So, andyan na yung, actually, these two are the quotient. Kapag dinivide mo ang dalawang terms, ito, ang dalawang terms, by the greatest common factor. Okay. So, let's proceed to the factored form. Okay. So, andyan pa rin sila. Okay. So, as you can see, the first one, okay, so this first is the greatest common factor. Okay, so nasa labas siya. And there is a open and closed parenthesis. Okay, so if we divide this one by the greatest common factor, sabi ko nga kanina, we will get 2x cubed. Okay, so same location kung nasaan yung position ng 4x raised to 4th y. Okay, so yan. And then also, ito rin naman, next is the 3y. Kapag dinivide mo yung 6xy squared with the GCF. So, take note, yung nasa loob are the quotient when we divide the original terms by the greatest common factor. And also, don't forget the operation. Same lang sila. Okay. Sorry, masyadong malikot yung yung mouse. Okay. So, same lang, hindi nagbago. We're just going to copy the operation. So, yan. That's it. That's the answer. That is the factored form of the expression. Okay. So, I hope that you have followed what we have done with this lesson. Actually, sabi ko nga, I have only one example here. But then, by this one example, I hope that you can already apply on how to factor polynomials with common monomial factor. Okay. So, if you have any question, you can place your comment on the comment section. And also, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.